Hey guys, since I was part of that Star Wars debate last night that got cut short a little bit, I figured before we went into the debate itself that I kind of went over my thoughts over Star Wars Episode 7 kind of in podcast format. None of this is scripted, so you might hear a lot of ums and all that fun stuff that I usually edit out for my videos. But before I leave, I have a lesson I got to teach kind of far away. I figured I'd go over how I feel about the movie. So, I'll be going over the few things that were in the episode since it's been taken down for the Nighttime Fiasco show that I was on for, I think, like 15 minutes last night before we ran out of time. For those who did not hear it, I'll be breaking down everything I saw with the movie. Now, again, I didn't hate the movie. I didn't think it was a bad movie. And usually when I have criticisms over a film, I don't feel so passionate to bring them up. However, with how rampant some of the praise has been for this film, a lot of it I don't really believe it deserves, such as it being better than Episode 5, even better than the original trilogy, which I don't feel it's even close to, or even destroying every prequel movie, because there are things the prequels did actually better than this movie. I figured that I would be this gigantic cosmic devil's advocate, seeing as how there's many people who are almost afraid to talk negatively about this movie. Now, again, I don't hate it, but I also don't think it is. I think it's got major flaws. I think it has a lot of problems that people are turning a blind eye to because they are so wrapped up in hype over this film. So first off, let's take a look at one of the things Star Wars is very famous for: world building. If there was anything that the prequels did right, it was world building. It built a lot, whether it be from politics, whether it be from literally just new designed planets. It really made a point to design and develop new worlds and make us feel like there's actually an entire galaxy to explore. Let's take a look at what Episode 7 gave us. Okay, we started off on we start off at some random place. We don't exactly know where. We find out later that it's a planet that's literally not Tatooine. There's an old guy who has some MacGuffin plans that we don't exactly know what yet for, but sure, they revealed them later. Who is that man? We really don't know. So why do we care? Who cares? So right there, that's the first thing we have to hope the next movies help us for, or at least they point out the significance of that character. Is he just some old guy that has the plans, or is there a reason he was given the map or whatever to Luke? I keep calling them the plans because of how close it is to Episode 4. But moving on from that, we are given a great villain, at least in the beginning. Him stopping a blaster bolt was pretty awesome. I'll give him that. His voice, not really a big fan of that. I remember in the movie, when I was watching it, I turned to my girlfriend and I was just like, I don't like that. It just wasn't convincing. It just sounded like Bane, as far as I'm concerned. Which I guess since we're talking about his voice changer, kind of a comical side note. I felt like, if you wanted to be Vader so much, did, the Knights of Ren just not have the budget the Empire did? Because for me, it looks like the Vader mask was an upgrade. I mean, you have a choice between a weird modulator that doesn't sound very impressive versus James Earl Jones in an evil space British accent. I'll take the latter of the two. It's just an upgrade. So, yeah, I thought that was a little bit silly. Also, since we destroyed the EU, I found it kind of weird that one of my favorite characters that was removed from the EU, Darth Revan, they pretty much just lifted his mask design. A little nitpick, not something that ruined the film, but just something to note. There was a lot of EU in this, and whether sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. I will miss KOTOR being canon for damn sure. Now, world building. Let's see the planets they gave us. We started off on not Tatooine. We saw a bunch of stormtroopers, exact same outfit, except they're slightly changed. And then not Darth Vader shows up and captures a character who actually is kind of original. I do like Poe a lot. And Finn, I thought Finn was the most original thing in this movie. I thought he was a fresh character. We got to see, the stormtroopers kind of we got to see they were human. And we got to see that above anything else, Finn was really human. I felt he was just really well done. You didn't have to do much exposition, except for another nitpick. I have a problem with blasters making people bleed. I know they probably, I know they probably expanded upon that in some EU, or not EU, I guess not anymore, but some other, stuff they probably expanded upon it. But as far as I'm concerned, blasters and lightsabers, they pretty much cauterize anything they hit. But whatever. It was a cool scene, the blood on the mask and all that, and Finn being bothered, and you could see he was just literally shocked, even just in his body movements and his body language. So I liked him. But then we have to look at the other planets we've been given. Just the worlds, the settings. We were given, again, not Tatooine. We were given not Yavin 4. Not Coruscant was destroyed, which is one of my biggest problems with the film. Why destroy a planet if there's no tension? There's no reason for us to care aside from it's just a planet. Who's on the planet? We don't know. And what is the planet to these people aside from it's just our base? There was no ramifications for it. And furthermore, the scene before that, I know that Star Wars is essentially World War II in space, but, boy, if you guys haven't seen it, the scene before the destruction of Hosian Prime, that's the name of the planet, which was, I don't know if it was revealed or not in the film. If it was really in passing. Or not Coruscant. The scene before that was one of the most blunt Nazi references I have ever seen. If you had like a microphone in the theater, like around my seat, you could hear me like you could hear me just like slump back and be like, just oof. So I felt it was a little bit thick initially when I saw the stormtroopers lined up just like the Nazis, and then they had all the sort of Nazi propaganda, and I was like, oh my god, now he's giving a Hitler speech. Please don't salute. Please do not salute. They just saluted. It's okay, not the Nazis. Got it. So yeah, we got that. We have not the Death Star, and it was to the point where even Han Solo had to, state. He's like, there's got to be a way to blow it up then, or he wasn't even like excited about it. He was just like, all right, there's got to be a way to blow it up, and it was like, yeah, it's how I feel right now. It's just a bigger Death Star with the, I guess, sort of bigger stakes here. And again, Alderaan, I know Alderaan was not really expanded upon in Episode 4, but you know what? We didn't have to. All we had to do was have Leia just seem a little tense about it and point out that it's her planet. That's all we needed. In fact, she didn't really go into she didn't really mourn her planet much after that. She had a job to do. That little bit would have sufficed for me. Just someone explaining, like, oh my god, my family was there, or oh my god, Hosian Prime, this was there. When I thought it was Coruscant, I was like, man, J.J. Abrams, this is a gigantic F-U to the prequels. That's great. I know Coruscant. I was like, man, the Jedi Temple's on there. The Galactic Republic, or what's left of it, is on there. There's stakes there. That's really cool. And then I found out that it's just some other planet. In fact, it looked like Coruscant. They said it was the Republic capital. It's like, okay, well, that's Coruscant then. That's Coruscant. Nope, it was something else. Okay, that I felt was really, really weak. So then you got to look at other things too, this takes place 30 years after the events of Return of the Jedi, and yet everyone's still using the same technology pretty much. The TIE fighters are upgraded, I guess. The X-Wings have blue on them instead of red, but I get it. It's because of nostalgia, fine. I turn a blind eye to that one. Then we also had some things that were, they tried a little bit, I guess, to build. The Han Solo scene with the squid monsters. However, I felt that was a very useless scene. I felt that scene did not even need to be there. There were no real stakes for it. It was comical. I liked Han being Han again, even though I kind of felt like, the whole time it was just a countdown to Han Solo dying. Harrison Ford clearly has not liked the character in years, so there was no tension for me, because it was just like, all right, he's gonna bite the dust. He's gonna bite it. Something's gonna happen to him. Now let's get on to Rey here. Again, just establishing the world building on Episode 7, pretty weak. There was almost no new ideas, except for, Tatooine has one son, the new Tatooine, or fake Tatooine, Jakku. The main villain, I guess, he's like the new Palpatine guy, Lord Snoke, which, to be honest, he just looks like Voldemort to me. And if he turns out to be Vader, by the way, which I don't believe, if he turns out to be Vader, I'm going to be really irritated. If it's Plagueis, all right, that's okay. Sorry. That's all right. But he just looked very unoriginal the whole time. I was just like, I'm not even a Harry Potter fan. But it was just like, oh, look, it's Voldemort. Okay. All right. I guess this is a big deal. Okay. And then on top of it, now we got to talk about Kylo Ren, because I know people are touting that Kylo Ren is a really original character. Really like him. Everyone just thinks he's so in-depth and he's better than... Actually, people are saying he's better than Vader, which is preposterous. Vader had literally 6 movies pretty much dedicated to him, even if it meant that some of them were dedicated to him in hindsight. Kylo Ren, first off, we're now making up new rules about how the Jedi and Sith work. When you fall to the dark side, you fall to the dark side. And what made Anakin special was the fact that he actually could redeem himself. But in terms of canon, we don't really have many, if any, real instances of it. Now, we had some in the EU, yes, But when you fall to the dark side, it's pretty much, complete. Revan was a bit of an... He was a little different because of the whole memory thing, but he's not canon anymore, so we can't even use him. He would have been a great example. So yeah, you fall to the dark side. That's what happens. You don't, decide. It's not like one day you get up and you put on your Sith robes and you're like, I'm feeling kind of like an autumn today. I'm going to go put on my dark clothes and become a Sith today. No, you fall to the dark side. You become a Sith, and it's a profound moment in your life. Like, it is a giant deal. Redeeming yourself is very difficult, and that was part of what made Vader effective. He was, as much as I thought the Chosen One thing, especially the name, was a little bit forced, if we're going to go by that route, it still made Vader very effective. He was a character that, we as much as he was kind of bland in the prequels, we still felt for the guy, especially in the original trilogy. And him turning from the dark to the light was a big deal. And I know we're going to go down this route again. So I get when people are saying, him being tempted by the light side is really clever and all, but it goes against the entire idea of what being a Sith Lord is. And speaking of Sith Lords, he's a Sith Lord. I don't care what people say about that. He quacks like a duck, acts like a duck. He's a duck. He has dark robes, check. He has a red lightsaber, which, by the way, the color of your lightsaber provides no tactical advantage whatsoever. The only reason you have a red lightsaber is because you want to be a Sith Lord. He doesn't exactly like the light side very much. That too. Likes force choking. Definitely likes that. I mean, he's a Sith Lord minus the lightning. And also doesn't seem to know how to build a lightsaber properly. But anyways, so yes, Kylo Ren. His introduction was awesome. I thought that he was becoming a great villain. Voice could have been a little better. I really do not like the fact that a promising Sith Lord with the genes of the Skywalker family somehow lacked the foresight to see that Chewbacca would have shot him if he killed Han Solo. I just figured, if you have that kind of perception, it'd be pretty easy. But anyways, I digress. So, yes, I can see... when I was watching the fight, and I saw him get shot, and I saw him chasing Rey, I already put that together. I was like, okay, well, now we're going to use this as a way for Rey to beat him, which I understand why, because he's bleeding out from a laser shot, but whatever. We'll ignore the fact that lasers apparently don't cauterize now. So he's bleeding out and all this stuff, and he manages, Finn manages to fight him, even though when he was with Poe, he straight up said he's only good with blasters, but whatever. He's injured, which is a great plot device, so now Kylo Ren can be beaten. And also by Rey, who, as much as people hate hearing this, I can't find a way to relate to her. She's not very human. Like, she doesn't have faults, so there's no really any stakes for me to follow her. She has one flashback and talks to Han about her family coming back. Okay, I can acknowledge it happened, but why and, what makes me care? And I get, people always argue with, well, we're going to find out in the next movies. Okay, then maybe in the next movie I'll care about Rey. But as far as I'm concerned, this movie didn't really establish who Rey was, and why should I care? The whole time, I just kept thinking, all right, well, how does Finn feel? Because we learned enough about him. We learned, that he was supposed to be brainwashed as a stormtrooper and all this other stuff, but he still was human. Cool. We didn't go much into Finn, but we went into Finn enough for me to care. And again, that's why I like him, and I like Poe's, friendship with him. However, him surviving and, being a convenient way to not be in the film for a while from the TIE fighter crash, a bit convenient. So there's that. Anyways, so let's move forward into the realm of Rey here. So Rey, one of my biggest problems with the film, again, it has nothing to do with her gender, has nothing to do with her race, whatever. As far as I'm concerned, first off, she is from Space England, which is a nitpick, yes, but in the Star Wars universe, they kind of established that people of high class, Jedi, the Empire, they have space British accents. And that's fine. I can jive with that. It's part of the universe. Why does Rey have it? I don't know. And as far as we know, like, the last time she saw her family was when she was like 4 years old. So how could you have a space British accent on not Tatooine, where there's almost no British accents unless you're Obi-Wan Kenobi, who has been long dead. So there's that little nitpick right there. So it'd be nice to know. Maybe we could see like a mentor who has a space British accent, or just something. Give me something. Give me something to to chew on here to make me care about Rey. But instead, we see her. She basically turned the Force into a really weak plot device. With Luke, at least he had to fail a little bit. He had to train in front of Obi-Wan a little bit. And he got tagged by that orb, which is again designed for children. And as much as you hate midichlorians, he had a giant midichlorian count because of his relationship to his father. So if Rey is the daughter of Obi-Wan or Luke, she's going to have less, which means her Force potential is, you guessed it, less. Because I know people always say, she's a lot like Luke. Not really. Luke had to be saved a number of times throughout the films, and yes, even in Return of the Jedi, when he was now a Jedi, throughout Star Wars, whether it be the Cantina, whether it be Han Solo saving him from Vader, all of those moments, he was human. We rooted for him. He was an everyman. That's why we liked Luke. We didn't need a lot of exposition. We just needed to know he's a guy, lives in a moisture farm, he wants to do something greater with his life. He's frustrated with his life. And then that's that's like enough. It's enough for us. We hear him get talked down to from his parents, not because they're mean to him, but just kind of like, he just seemed like he was an every guy that had some parents or aunt, uncle, that kind of, he had chores. He had all these things that he was frustrated with. But we saw that before we, watched him jump into the action, and we saw him doing things that just showed he was human. He could fail. Rey, however, there were some moments where I was like, ooh, okay, so we're going to see, this is some tension. Cool. And then all of a sudden, you'd always see her just pull some crazy Force stuff out of the blue, especially when she got captured by Kylo Ren, which was a little bit cringe-inducing. Because, again, Kylo was supposed to have personal training from, at that point, the greatest Jedi in the galaxy, and also the Sith Lord Voldemort or something. And he gets overpowered by someone who should have on par, if not less, Force potential than him. I know everyone hates the fact that the Force isn't magical thanks to the prequels, but it's canon. And I like having a universe that follows its own laws, because then tension makes more sense. We can't just say the Force. I mean, there's one moment when Han Solo told Finn, when Finn said, we're going to use the Force, he said, that's not how the Force works. I was like, man, is that Harrison Ford talking, or is that Han Solo? Great line. But I kind of felt that way through a lot of it, where it's just like, that's not how the Force works. So, again, on top of it, Rey said, she pointed out how it seemed like it was, the Jedi stuff was legend. That she knew of it, but they were kind of legend, and Han had to, confirm that, they were real. So for her to kind of figure out the Jedi mind trick that easily, it's just like, all right, I'm losing my suspension of disbelief in that universe. In that universe, these things just don't make sense. And, usually with a movie, it's got to have something. Like where it fails in world building, it's got to make up for in character development. And there really wasn't much in that movie. At least as much as people say. Again, Finn, awesome. I thought Finn was great. Leia, really uninspired. I didn't really feel much when I saw Leia again. It didn't really seem to blow my mind at all. Her and Han, yeah. I mean, Harrison Ford, it was nice seeing him be Han again. That was great. But, I mean, one of his biggest scenes was when he was chasing a CGI squid monster around a hangar, and I don't know. That scene could have just been removed, in my opinion. But, anyways, it's going to be, it's a lot easier when I have someone to actually bounce the ideas off of. However, those are some of my main concerns of the movie. There are other ones, too. Also, how they had to go to the not Mos Eisley place to get the lightsaber, which apparently has memories on it. Let me address that really quick. Lightsabers, in terms of the movies, they never really did that. And if there's anybody that should have received the memories from Anakin Skywalker and what he did with that lightsaber, you would figure that would be Luke Skywalker when he received it from Obi-Wan, but he didn't. And don't forget, that lightsaber murdered children, and none of those memories are on it. But with Rey, apparently all of it's there. I don't. That just seems like another plot device. It was like, we need a MacGuffin. We have to get it from point A to point B. And it's got to do something special. We got to do something here with CGI, something to make it profound. All right, we got to do this with the lightsaber. And by the way, I got to say, for something that fell off of, Cloud City, like Bespin, all the way down to the bottom of that planet, it did a wonderful job of being in great shape. I mean, man, not even a nick on that thing. What is that made of? Space adamantium? But anyways, I digress. So that was really weak. She runs away. Oh, I'm not ready. Then she comes back, and look, she's ready now. So yeah, those are some of my big issues with it. Overall, I would say for a Star Wars film, I would have it at 7, maybe 6 as a movie. I'll go see it again. I've heard people saying it's better on the multiple viewings, but should a movie be like that? Should a movie require multiple viewings? Because there's stuff in the prequels that I liked more after I watched, multiple times. So I don't know. I'm sure I missed a few things because I'm kind of in a hurry here, but I did want to get some ideas out because I've had a lot of people asking me, where can they find out more about the movie, or like the discussion about the movie, sorry. So this is just my idea to kind of kick things off a little bit. I do want to have some debates with some people and make it easier for me to kind of collect my thoughts a little bit better. So hopefully this sufficed, and some people found this rather interesting. Um, but yeah, let me know what you think. Comments, questions are you know certainly welcome. I'm looking forward to hear what you guys think. It's definitely the gigantic rancor in the room here. Sorry for the pun. Had to. So yeah, let me see what you guys think. I'm sure there'll be other episodes about this, and I hope this was a little satisfying. Later.